Hi, Virgo. This is Carrie at wooingnature.life. I hope you're well. This is your reading for July. So, I'm going to be doing a medicine wheel reading for this month. I'm also going to be reading from what is this? Who am I reading from? The World Spirit Tarot. So, the tarot part of the reading will be from the World Spirit Tarot. And then I'm going to close the deal with Alana Fairchild's Sacred Rebels card. So that should give you a good solid reading. We talked about love a couple of months ago. We talked about work last month. For this month's tarot reading, I'm just going to just do a straight reading and see what comes out. All right, so we're going to start with the medicine wheel. This is my go-to whenever there are people who are trying to um, figure out just basically what's going on in life, and just to kind of get a real good circumspect view of yourself and what's happening in relationship to you. So at the center of that reading is sort of the core. It gives you an idea of where you are and who you are and what's happening with you. I'm going to be reading a spirit animal card for that part of the reading, and then the other four directions, the north, the south, the east, and the west, I'm going to be pulling from Mystical Shaman, just so you know, for those people who like to get into the card stuff. All right, so your animal spirit for this month is the beaver spirit. Beaver spirits, we already know, are busy. They're workers. Their operation is with wood. So for those of you who know anything about Chinese astrology or know about Chinese medicine, you'll be wanting to check out your wood element. Um, Beavers are quite crafty. They know how to build a home. They know how to build what it is that they need to live in. Okay. Literally, the beaver dams are where they go and they live. And so, if you're looking at transplanting, if you're looking at moving to another place, fixing up your space, making sure that your space is how you need it to be, then Virgo, by all means, go for it and keep that spirit open and keep your spirit open and keep your spirit open to the beaver energy. So I always recommend that people go online and look up the habitat, the behavior of the beaver. Look at videos, National Geographic, any of that is fair game for you to see how the beaver lives, how the beaver operates, and then how you can apply those practices or those instinctual habits of the animal, how you can apply that to your own instincts and your own way of life. And that's how we work with the animals. That's the animal spirit stuff. All right, so moving on to the mystical shaman. And again, I'm going to use these to point our directions to give us some focus and some direction, or give you some focus, Virgo, and direction for the month of July. We're looking at focus and direction for Virgo just for the month of July. All right. Oh, there we go. Thank you. All right. In the south, which is the learning place, we have taming the wind. Taming the wind. That's an interesting thing because there are winds of change. Wind represents change. It represents movement, and usually invisible movement or movement that you cannot see. Okay, so you'll want to put your feelers out. You'll want to get your spidey senses together because you're going to want to feel what's happening in and around you as it's coming in, right? So for the month of July, you want to be observant, you want to be paying attention, but observation is not just with the eyes in your case, it really is tuning in to your feeling place. And where that feeling place is going to give you a sense of which direction you need to go in. And that's what taming the wind is all about. Also, taming the wind is associated with the air sign, and air is associated with the mind. So if you find your mind wandering, or you're dealing with a lot of thoughts, you want to try to narrow those thoughts down to just a few. And of course, you can do that through meditation and through some repatterning exercises as well. So you just want to kind of get in control of your thoughts. Think pay attention to where your thoughts are leading you. If they're leading you down a negative road, you'll want to repattern and rethink and reformulate the things that are happening in your mind. And that's another way of taming the wind. And that again is in the place of the South, where you are getting lessons of growth and learning how to trust. And this case, it looks like you're learning how to trust the spirit, because again, that's that invisible force. In the west position, which is in the looks within place, you have the crow. This is also the place of dreams. So I would say that probably in your dream space, or when you are reflecting on your past, is where you are tapping into the spirit energy of the crow. Now the crow is a law keeper. It keeps the law. And so when we think about the law in terms of, your society, the law is a set of rules and regulations that kind of keeps everybody on the same page. But when you're looking within, which is where the West is, if you're looking at the looks within place, then you have to look at what laws and what orders and what policies you've established for yourself. And do those policies still apply? Do those procedures that you go through in your everyday life, that kind of mundane, this is what I do every day, is it still serving your purpose, or do you need to make an adjustment there? But I'm feeling like with that crow energy showing up in the West place, that it is about your own sense of order. It's about reestablishing order within yourself that matches up with your assignment, that matches up with your purpose, and that matches up with how you are aligned with spirit and with your own spirit, with your own divine spirit, your higher self, your self that's operating it at its optimal state, or in an optimal state. All right, so let's look ahead to the north. We're going to go to the north next. This is where you have your spirit, where your spirit is connected, or your spiritual connection, Virgo. It's also a place of wisdom. So this is where wisdom comes from. And if you're just completing a task, or if you're just coming through a cycle, then this also represents that place. And you have the fire element there. So the fire element is about your spirit. It's about what fuels you. It's about what inspires you, what motivates you, what gets you up and gets you going every day. That's the fire of your own spirit. And that comes from within. So when you're talking about going through a cycle or ending a cycle of spiritual completion, that cycle, or whatever you have been going through thus far that you are now ending, was there to get you in touch with your inner fire. It was there to get you in touch with your spirit and what your spirit needs in order to fulfill its divine purpose. And so you can expect to be shedding a lot of light onto situations. You will be a light bearer in a lot of circles that you're in. And then, of course, you will be personally motivated and feel inspired by things that are happening in you. It could be a creative effort, or it could be an idea, or it could just be something that you really, really love to do that you then start acting upon, or you start making it a more significant part of your life. All right, so in the East, which is a place of new beginnings and, your thought processes and the new things that are inspiring you, you have the rattle. And the rattle is a really important instrument in spiritual work, because what it does is it breaks up the energy. It breaks up energy. So if you're stuck, the rattle unsticks the energy so that things can dissipate, and so that, the earth can grow, and so that, things can grow from you. Also, the rattle keeps you protected. It is actually a tool of protection. And it is also used in the giveaway ceremony. So if you are dealing with some residual resentments or anger, frustration, sorrow, sadness, it would be a good time to rattle those things away. So if you actually have a rattle, use it. And if you don't, then get something that rattles. Sometimes I use bracelets, beads, whatever, and just sit in meditation and sit with the rattle, or rattle during the meditation, and you'll be surprised at how it lifts your spirit and lifts your energy up. So, busy time in July. Busy time for you in July. You are making a home for yourself, or you're making yourself comfortable in a space where you can really grow, and that's important to Virgo. Virgo likes to have their space together too, because they are Earth signs, and we like Earth signs like to feel comfortable. Don't forget that you are assigning yourself to looking at your own law and order, your own sense of order, your own rules and regulations, and especially as you are completing a cycle and as you are learning new things, you are going to have to set a new set of rules and regulations for yourself. Also, that includes boundaries. Don't forget that. And then also, you're checking your mind space. You're learning how to kind of quell some of those extra thoughts that may be going through that Virgo mind of yours. And then also, you're using your senses to feel what needs to happen in your environment next. So great full circle there. Great full circle. Looks good. Let's see how the tarot corroborates what's going on with your medicine wheel. All right, so I am again in the World Spirit Tarot, looking at the World Spirit here. Ooh, lots of things going on. All right, good. So we start out here with the Judgment card. And in this card, it looks like there's just a journey that you've been making, Virgo. And you're trying to really understand yourself. And you're also trying to understand two sides of yourself. That's been the journey so far. It seems like it's been long. It seems like it's been drawn out. But there's a lot of things that you've learned. You've learned what burdens you, what troubles you. You've learned who you can walk with when you're going through your problems. You're also learning and discovering new ways and being around people who can help push you along. You've learned that. You've also gotten some tools, or you've gotten a vehicle of sorts that's going to house or carry or move forward all of the gifts and all of the talents that you have been gaining over the time that you've been alive. So I'm seeing this being an interesting phase in terms of Judgment, because it is something that you have been processing through, and now is the time for you to really look at all of those things that I just mentioned, and then you're able to really see who it is that you are, and how the hard work of it and the hard work of digging inside your soul to understand yourself is now done. And so you can lighten up and you can be happier and you can be freer. And then right after that, we've got the Lovers coming in. Now, this can mean a couple of things. For some of you, the result of you getting through this cycle, and again, we talked about spiritual connectedness, and we also talked about finishing or completing a cycle. Now that you have completed this particular cycle, it's going to open up um, a place for new energy. This could actually be a new relationship for some of you all. It could be a new love relationship, romantic relationship. It could also be a rekindling of an old relationship where now you all are more on the same page than you were before. It could also mean for some of you that the bridge between where you are and where you want it to be is now coming together. That's also the Lovers, or anywhere where you felt like you had to make a leap or you had to make a step, or there may have been some blockages between you and what you really wanted or desired, because Lovers also is about desires, whether it's desires for other people or desires for other things or ideas or work or whatever. That now is the time that that's going to come through for you, and you're going to know what that is and what you're looking for, what you need to come together. I'm seeing in this card also lots of spirits around you. They're like angelic spirits, or it could be orishas, or it could be loa, or it could be spirit guides, whichever ones apply to you. They are around you and they are ushering this through, because they have also ushered through this process for you as well. And so out of that, we've got the Sun. Lots of major arcana cards here for you, Virgo. We've got the Sun, so there's some positivity coming. I'm also seeing that the things that you imagined that you didn't think were possible are now becoming possible. even when you're learning that even when you doubted, faith was carrying you anyway. Spirit was carrying you when you lost faith. So faith was not lost at all. Yet another major arcana card here, strength. So the strength that you have gained has been incredible. I'm just seeing here that Virgo, for July, this is going to be a very positive month because you are closing the deal. You are closing the deal on a very long journey that you've been taking. And now you've come to the end of it. And so you're going to see the results of it in July. So we got the Seeker of Pentacles here. So if you have been searching for something lucrative, something comforting, something that makes you feel grounded in the world where you don't have to worry about other little minor things, just know that that's coming through during July, along with these things that you imagined, that you only imagined could be true. So you're in a place where you're receiving that, where the receiving end is coming in. And then we have the Seeker of Swords and the Temperance card coming out together. It tells me that, you know, the balance is going to come when you are actually able to take the actions that manifest this for you. And that's going to happen once you complete this cycle. Remember, we talked about knowing both sides of yourself and becoming relaxed with that. That's what the Temperance is here. And I'm seeing that coupled with the Seeker of Swords. So we have two Seeker cards here, which really relate to Knights. So I'm seeing that there's going to be a quickening here that's happening with you, but it's also telling you where you are, Virgo, in relationship to your development around these things. So you have made it through. Actually, for me, I think a couple of cycles of this, you've been building toward it, and this cycle that you just completed is like another rung. There'll be more as you go down the line, but not before you've had the chance to really bask in the limelight of making it this far. Still levels of growth, still ways for you to balance out, but you've done a great job so far, and I think that you're going to start to be able to utilize the energy that you have gained from that process. So I've got the Nine of Swords here. I don't know why that's showing up. Let's see what's going on there. Maybe you're worried. Maybe you're not sleeping well. I got another Seeker card here. So it's a lot of night energy in this reading. I'm going to say for you, Virgo, slow down just a little bit and take in the scenery. So if you're not sleeping well, or if you feel like you're overwhelmed by your own thoughts, remember we talked about taming the wind. That's what this is about. You got to tame the wind. You got to not, it's the things that you're worrying about now are residual. They're residual things. Whatever you're thinking about, it's already over. It's already finished. It's already complete. You've already done everything you needed to do about it. So now you can let it go. Okay? So, again, we got the Seeker of Wands. We have the Seeker of Swords here. We also have the Seeker of Pentacles. So there's a lot of, in several areas of your life, your spirit, your mind, your body, your physical reality is all going through some level of change, and you just have to keep your hands on it. You have to keep your eye on it. You have to stay focused as much as you can, because you're not quite through all of the lessons. Well, no, that's not true. You have made it through all of the lessons. Now what you're learning to do is to assimilate the material into your new experience. Okay? That's what's happening. So there's time to make some decisions, but I'm feeling like the decisions are really to let go of some of these other things that you're trying to make decisions about. In other words, narrow it down, Virgo, narrow it down. You shouldn't be thinking about 9 things. Narrow it down to about 2, and you should be good to go. Okay? All right, let's see if we got anything else for Virgo. for the month of July. Any other clarification for the month of July? I want clarification about all these seekers. That's what I want. All right, so the clarification is the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords, your shield and your truth is your protection. So as you are approaching the new set of challenges that you are going to have, and I'm seeing these as, the new levels, the other levels that are going to be activated. Stay true to yourself and let your truth be your shield. Let that be your banner. Let that be your sword and buckler. And you will be good to go. Just stay with the truth. Stay with the truth of who you are. And narrow down these thoughts. All right, Virgo. Good to go. All right, so the last message is going to come from Sacred Rebels Oracle. It's been a rebellious time. A lot of people are expressing their dissatisfaction with the status quo. So I thought Sacred Rebels would be a good place to go for this month. Sacred Rebels. There we go. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. I don't even need to go to the book, but I am going to go to the book anyway. This is number 31 for those of you who are numerologically inclined. 31 breaks down to a 4, which is a foundation number. It says to trust yourself. You are wise, Virgo. You know how to grow even without knowing how you know. Like the ancient forest, spectacular galaxies, and the acorn that becomes the oak, there is a natural intelligence for growth that is beyond logic and reason. Let me do it this way for the light purposes. At the deepest levels, we are governed by this force that is so palpable, it literally shapes our world. At the same time, it is so invisible that sometimes we forget its presence and worry that our minds have to work everything out for life to happen and for it to be all right. We can become unnecessarily anxious about affairs and how life will unfold. That's that 9 of Swords there. This oracle brings the message that you are growing. You really are. Don't doubt it. Even if you don't see it yet, remember that so much is happening when the seed is still unbroken in the ground. Below the earth, it is summoning up all the might, power, and force it needs to push above the top soil and burst up into the light. It is essential for anything good to happen later on, yet we don't see any of that. We just have to trust that things will happen when the time is right. You're being asked to trust in yourself. You know how to grow. Don't overthink things because it won't help you. Don't worry so much. You're doing a great job in this game of life. And when you trust yourself, you relax and you can heed your own wisdom, insight, and messages much more clearly and easily. All right, that's a good deal, Virgo. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope this gives you some insight about how to live your life in the month of July. As always, I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you have a wonderful life.